It began, as most galactic disasters do, with an overpaid committee and a tragically misinterpreted satellite image. Somewhere in the glittering bureaucratic marble maze of the Interstellar Peace Hygiene Authority, an organization obsessed with mandatory bowing angles and legally distinct shades of apology, 4 moss colonies and an emotionally fragile jellyfish named Vargla unanimously authorized the launch of a precision politeness warhead TM on what they believed was a clandestine Terran youth militarization hub. The image, shaky and thermal distorted, had shown a group of small humans in combat formation weaving through obstacles. What IPHA intelligence missed, largely due to being translated through 3 layers of humming code, was the hand-painted sign reading Camp Starflower, Summer Dodgeball Tournament Finals. 30 seconds later, every window in Montana trembled, as a white-hot blast vaporized the orphanage, scattering half-melted dodgeballs and pastel crayon drawings of ducks across state lines. The galaxy expected an outrage, maybe even a strongly worded communique or an awkward ceasefire brunch. What it got was Jenna Briggs, Navy SEAL, single mother, tactical legend. And currently, the most statistically feared life form by 17, war algorithms. She got the news halfway through folding laundry and drinking coffee from a chipped black mug that read, "Extinction is a policy option." The next morning, every Earth satellite blinked in unison, spelling, "You're screwed." In Morse code, Earth's power grid surged as military networks roared to life. Microwaves in Ohio received firmware updates containing orbital targeting protocols. Briggs walked into the Pentagon's sub-basement war chamber with a diaper bag slung over one shoulder and dropped a juice box on the table like it was a declaration of war. "Give me targets, not excuses," she said, voice calm and utterly lethal. The brass didn't argue. For the first time since Earth discovered democracy, every government agreed on one thing. Someone just bombed our kids. Galactic diplomats scrambled. Ambassador Fluffgar of the Heliox Collective, best known for his floral hats and tendency to faint under pressure, suggested fruit baskets and a formal oopsie letter. Back on Earth, Briggs was already transmitting her response. It played on every channel. "You have 14 hours to evacuate Sol space. After that, we introduce your fleets to math you're not ready for, and your councils to orbital fire." The galaxy laughed. For 2 hours. Then the first Earth ships arrived. Thousands of them, painted with snarling teddy bears holding grenades and broadcasting lullabies in frequencies that caused enemy AIs to cry digital tears. IPHA's command tried to respond with diplomacy, but their message was intercepted and replaced with a child's voice reciting the alphabet in reverse while holding a foam sword. The foam sword, incidentally, became Earth's most feared symbol in 3 star systems. Meanwhile, RECESS, a special forces unit composed of PTA volunteers, a retired lunch lady, and a former kindergarten teacher named Mr. Blake, who specialized in weaponized glitter, began disabling planetary defense systems while singing nursery rhymes. Briggs herself never raised her voice. She didn't have to. Her pre-recorded audio was now being used as a deterrent beacon in the Andromeda sector. By the end of the day, 12 IPHA council members had resigned, 2 had fled, and 1 had taken up llama farming in despair. And Jenna? She was just getting started. In orbit, her command ship loomed like a disciplinary note from hell, glowing, humming and bearing the ominous title, Time Out. As systems failed and command centers fell, one alien commander finally asked the question every species should have started with. Why did we think bombing a place called Camp Starflower was a good idea? No one answered. Because the answer, universally, was dumbassery. The silence that followed was not peace. It was the kind of stillness you only get right before a planetary slap across the face. For 12 hours, Earth said nothing. No transmissions, no threats, no formal declarations, just a quiet so absolute it made the galactic community sweat through 7 layers of diplomatic robes. IPHA's analysts, 1 sentient fog, 2 tree saplings, and a retired opera-singing snail, assumed this was a sign of guilt or perhaps confusion. After all, they reasoned, surely the humans would understand it was a paperwork error, a mislabeling, a minor over-nuke. But back on Earth, silence wasn't confusion. It was logistics. It was coffee-fueled vengeance spreadsheets. It was Jenna Briggs personally rerouting the entirety of Earth's strategic command network through a classified protocol known simply as Mom Mode. In the basement of the Pentagon's most secure bunker, a round table of military, political, and disturbingly cheerful kindergarten staff stared at a single holographic image, a scorched crayon duck, mid-flap, preserved in a burned folder from Camp Starflower's rubble. "We're not sending a strike team," Briggs said, arms crossed, hair in a practical combat braid, the kind that meant someone was about to lose something important. "We're sending a message, tactical, loud, and spelled in languages they can't Google Translate." Simultaneously, Earth's power grid lit up with coded pulses. Civilian smart devices began receiving cheerful updates titled HARMONY patch, now with 90% more vengeance. Refrigerators beeped Morse. Dishwashers downloaded ballistic trajectories. Alexa whispered, "Get 'em," when asked about the weather. On the moon, a classified weapons facility run by retired special ops grandmas crocheting ammo belts booted up. The Terran Accord of Unpleasant Retaliation, TAUR, was live. Across the galaxy, the IPHA tried to spin things. Public statements were issued in bureaucratic circles. "We deeply regret any minor emotional turbulence caused by the incineration of small humanoid habitats." But nobody was buying it. Not after Briggs hijacked the Galactic Peace Assembly's quarterly stream. She appeared mid-speech, sipping from her ever-present black mug, eyes like orbital death. "This is not a war," she said. "This is an educational campaign. You bombed children. We're about to teach you why that was the worst group project mistake of your civilization's life." Then came the visuals. Earth ships appearing in clusters like angry glitter clouds, hulls painted with angry emoji and nursery art. One vessel, the USS Timeout Chair, deployed its boarding parties with lullaby grenades, devices that played soothing tones while hacking local gravity to drop enemies into naptime paralysis. Resistance was embarrassing. One Heliox cruiser tried to launch countermeasures and instead activated a recording of a second grader's monologue about friendship, complete with finger puppet visuals that caused 3 alien crew members to renounce violence. Inside IPHA's crisis chamber, Marshal Sploon attempted to coordinate a response. Unfortunately, every touchscreen now displayed passive-aggressive PowerPoints prepared by Briggs herself. Slide 1. "So you nuked a daycare, a guide to being stupid." Slide 2. A spreadsheet of every IPHA official's most awkward personal search history. Slide 3. Step 1. Resign. Step 2. Learn Earth history. Step 3. Beg. By the 12th hour, reality snapped like an overstretched juice box straw. The galaxy wasn't facing war. It was facing something worse. Organized, maternal fury with a weapons-grade sense of sarcasm. Briggs hadn't even left Earth yet, but she'd already psychologically crippled 3 galactic navies and caused 2 empires to start apologizing to every species they'd ever mildly offended, just in case. In a classified orbiting bunker, dubbed the Crib, the RECESS squad ran tactical drills involving dodgeballs, lullabies, and non-lethal glitter cannons, ready to deploy on command. And Jenna? She stood atop Earth's primary assault carrier, now whimsically nicknamed the Naptime Enforcer, reading through a list of every IPHA official who had signed off on the attack. Her coffee mug was full. Her temper was not. Galactic law had 13 codes about warfare. Jenna was about to rewrite them using finger paint, plasma torpedoes, and sheer parental disappointment. Across the trembling diplomatic core of the galaxy, the phrase galactic meltdown took on a disturbingly literal tone as the Interstellar Peace Hygiene Authority's senior command realized far too late, that they had not incinerated a covert Earth weapons site, but had in fact declared war on humanity's most sacred institution. Emotionally volatile, snack-powered childcare. The galaxy's High Command met in emergency session under the dome of the Consensus Council, a place historically used for passive-aggressive humming contests and the ceremonial rewording of meaningless apologies. This time, there was no time for the usual 16 hours of circular debate. Holograms jittered in panic as sector after sector reported anomalies. Earth ships appearing in perfect formations, disrupting trade routes, rerouting entire star lanes, and projecting terrifying audio-visual signals that confused, humiliated, and in several cases, permanently traumatized enemy fleets. One such transmission featured a looping animation of a toddler in a dinosaur onesie drop-kicking a cartoon HFY cruiser, while a cheery Earth voice narrated, "You brought bureaucracy to a dodgeball fight." In a desperate bid to avoid total collapse, Supreme Marshal Sploon ordered a full mobilization of the Peace Compliance Armada, a bloated fleet known for its synchronized bowing routines and ineffectual, firm suggestion missile systems. They never stood a chance. The moment they entered Sol space, their fleet-wide AI systems were overrun by a viral Earth countermeasure disguised as a children's educational program called Count with Carnage. The virus didn't destroy systems. It reprogrammed every ship to play lullabies in distorted harmony, deploy random confetti bursts, and eject their weapon systems in the shape of inflatable rubber ducks. Earth's war strategy wasn't conventional. It was psychological chaos fused with playground vindication. Meanwhile, Jenna Briggs broadcast again, this time from a command chair on the bridge of the Naptime Enforcer, dressed not in battle armor but in a plain black diplomatic uniform with her daughter's glitter-glued sticker spelling "Mom" on the shoulder. "This is your 14-hour warning, now compressed to—" "Oh, look at that. 0, she said, with the dry tone of someone more annoyed than angry. "Please remove your fleets from Sol space, abandon any delusions of superiority, and surrender all war crime-committing officials. Or alternatively, don't, and learn what vengeance with a bedtime schedule looks like." The rest of the galaxy watched in horror and awe as Earth's REC ESS units deployed in surgical strikes, disabling planetary defense grids with weaponized lullabies, lull dart salvos, and what historians would later call Operation Hide-and-Go Peekaboom. An elite squad of librarians infiltrated the IPHA's primary data vaults by asking so many passive-aggressive questions that the AI broke down trying to answer with both truth and diplomacy. On the ground, Earth's troops used weaponized kindness and zero-G glitter floods to disorient guards long enough for infiltration teams to replace security footage with puppet show reenactments of the Montana strike, narrated by kindergartners. Entire galactic sectors began requesting neutrality, offering bribes in the form of rare minerals and politely terrified letters of surrender written in crayon. IPHA command was falling apart faster than a toddler's Lego tower, but Sploon still tried to maintain authority. "They can't be this dangerous," he wheezed. "They're primitive. Their ships are painted with cartoons." But it wasn't the ships. It was the message. "We know exactly how scary we are, and we're still choosing to mock you." Earth had gone from a background planet of reality show exports and confusing food tubes to the most terrifying cultural force in the galaxy, not because they were brutal, but because they were brutally creative. Jenna Briggs hadn't even reached IPHA territory yet, and entire planets were already defecting just to avoid making it onto her radar. The galactic balance of power wasn't just shifting, it was being napalmed, gift-wrapped, and drop-shipped to IPHA headquarters with a handwritten note. "This is for the duck drawing, you bureaucratic morons." Jenna Briggs arrived not in an assault pod or a war cruiser, but aboard a sleek, matte black diplomatic vessel marked with the symbol of Earth's newly formed Terran Accord of Unpleasant Retaliation, an angry teddy bear in sunglasses giving a thumbs up, surrounded by orbital fire. The ship didn't fire a single shot as it entered IPHA airspace. It didn't have to. The mere act of it existing within range triggered 57 resignations, a nervous breakdown in the Heliox ambassadorial staff, and caused an entire quadrant of the Peace Hygiene Armada to declare themselves spontaneously disbanded due to emotional reasons. The IPHA War Council, still clutching emergency stress crystals and babbling into comfort pillows, assembled under duress as Briggs strolled into the chamber, wearing a pressed black uniform with her daughter's juice stain proudly unlaundered. Across the sleeve and a patch that read, "World's Okayest Mom." She didn't bring guards. She brought presence. The kind that made the galaxy's most pompous bureaucrats realize, through some ancient instinct, that they were no longer the apex species in the room. "Let me save us some time," Briggs said, dropping a charred teddy bear on the table. It's one surviving eye, replaced with a red targeting diode. Hand over every sentient who approved the Montana strike. No tribunals, no committees. Just hand them over, or I teach your entire planetary defense grid how to recite bedtime stories. In thermonuclear, Marshal Sploon attempted a response but was cut off by the Council's lighting system glitching into disco strobe and the main screen displaying a projected finger painting titled Boom Boom Sky, apparently drawn by a 6-year-old and encoded with an AI virus that hijacked IFA's entire security architecture. Within minutes, every automated defense cannon turned 180 degrees. Orbital fleets rotated toward their own capital. Central Command was now locked in a logic loop caused by nursery rhymes inserted into core logic protocols. Each line of Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star, launching a low-orbit strike simulation. Chaos spread faster than their finest memos. IPHA officials scrambled to reverse it, only to find their systems password protected with Earth toddler voice prints, repeating phrases like, "You smell like broccoli." Meanwhile, Earth's Special Forces, codenamed REKESS, executed coordinated drop-ins across bureaucratic strongholds using helium-deployed cuddle bombs, tactical sing-alongs, and magnetized sticker grenades shaped like stars. Planets surrendered not to violence, but to the overwhelming embarrassment of being conquered by kindergarten motifs and ironic battle lullabies. News footage showed galactic admirals weeping as their ships were taken down by coordinated hopscotch incursions. In the command chamber, Sploon collapsed into his seat, defeated and faintly glowing from accidental exposure to glitter mist, as Jenna Briggs stood before them like the end of an especially judgmental bedtime story. "This isn't conquest," she said, sipping coffee that no longer steamed but radiated sheer cosmic authority. "This is education. Lesson 1, don't bomb kids. Lesson 2, when humans go quiet, it's not confusion, it's calibration. We don't do rage, we do precision parenting with tactical follow-through." In the end, the IPHA didn't fall by invasion, but by exodus. Council members fled in droves, abandoning polished marble offices for self-imposed exile, some starting agricultural communes on backwater moons, others forced to assist in rebuilding Camp Starflower Brick by humiliating Brick under Briggs's direct supervision. The new orphanage stood twice as tall, its foundation embedded with repurposed alien alloys, and its playground weaponized with emergency evacuation slides that doubled as anti-aircraft defense turrets. Jenna didn't ask for titles, but they gave her one anyway. Mad Mother of War, a name whispered with reverence, terror, and the faint sound of juice boxes being quietly placed on altars. 10 years later, the site became the Galactic Museum of Tactical Consequence, its entrance guarded by a statue of a crayon duck mid-flap, beneath which were etched the words, "We tried to warn them. They didn't listen. Now they plant tomatoes. Here." And on the wall, carved into metal salvaged from a fallen IPHA dreadnought, was Jenna's final doctrine. "If you harm our children, we'll burn your policies, rewrite your rules, and weaponize your shame. And we'll do it before bedtime."